It's something I know I've worried about, and when I talk with authors about considering self-publishing versus traditional publishing, one of the big arguments for self-publishing is the author is in control, and it
Mhm.
sometimes it feels like you find a literary agent that's going to be your advocate, that sees your vision, that obviously has a wide breadth of experience, and that's why I love these conversations, because sometimes people say, "Oh, publishing," in the same way conspiracy theorists say the government. And do you
Yep.
mean the whole government? Do you mean the people at the post office? Who do you mean specifically? And so, how much control can authors expect to give up by going traditional, because they're not putting up the money? This is a product now that has been purchased to be distributed by this larger entity. So, how much control can they realistically expect to have? How close can they expect their final product to match their vision? And how much input can they have even on the cover?
Well, so I'm going to back it up a little bit and say that I think seeing it as giving up or taking control is maybe not quite the right thought process. I think when you decide to work with a traditional publisher, if you have that opportunity, you could describe it as giving up control. Certainly, that's one way to see it. I think another way to see it is you're letting more voices into the room, and those voices are going to bring a set of experience and knowledge. In the case of publishing, usually very publishing specific knowledge to those things. And using the example previously, had the author not had that particular attachment to Shelties and known that it was an intrinsic part of the story, the suggestion to change it to something that would play better to the market might have actually been a very wise one. Might have moved the book into the center of conversation, might have gotten it written up in newspaper or magazine or website roundups about, liked this book, here's another one like it. So I think it's not that you're giving up control. It's, are you willing to let other people have a voice in the process? And are you willing to let other people bring expertise that you don't have? Because you have the expertise about your story, but you don't have expertise in the same way about what's historically worked over the course of the past 10 years, where we see the market going, all those kind of things. So it's kind of a question of, do you value having other voices in the room or in the conversation and working in partnership with people? Or do you want to be boss of the whole thing? I think there are authors for whom self-publishing is absolutely the right choice. I think the risk of it, though, is if you only ever hear your voice and your opinion, or that of the people who've lived with it, in the same way that you can't always see in a manuscript what needs to evolve because you've lived with it for too long and you're too close to it. I think the same thing can hold true of the entire publishing process, in the same way of like, are you thinking about all of these questions of audience, or are you only thinking about what you've put into it as a creator?